Hey guys, Mark Robinson here. I'm your host of the Wealth Rewired podcast, and welcome back to another episode. I'm going to run through 5 rules today of how to build wealth in today's, because if you think about it, right, without a doubt, the game has changed, and we need to know what the new rules are. So before we get on, guys, if you can always, if you've got any questions or comments, maybe put them down below or reach out to the team. We're here to help and serve wherever we possibly can. So I build this down into 5 rules, right? 5 top rules. And for me, look, without a doubt, the first one, the rule number 1, is wealth isn't built by savings, right? It's always built around investing. And the reason why we say that is I have never ever met in my whole life found someone who has actually become financially independent by saving their way. Yeah, you'll never save your wealth, your way to freedom. That's without a doubt, right? And we've been told for decades that, the only way to wealth is to work hard, save money, live below our means. Now, some of that part is true. Like me personally, I'd rather work smart, not hard. Like these hands aren't built for labor. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys, and I've done a number of days of hard work. It's just not my forte, right? It's not, I didn't turn around and go, nah, this is what I want to do. And if you are out there working hard, guys, it's even more important that you truly understand this rule, because at the end of the day, do you really want to keep working hard? Do you really want to turn around and go, you know what, this is it? Or can we get you to start utilizing that hard work part and start to work a little bit smarter, or more importantly, get your money working just as hard, if not harder than what you are? Yeah, and this is the key here. Because if you think about it, guys, the banks, out of all of them, right? The banks are the ones that love your savings. Yeah. And because if you think about it, right, they take your money and then they lend it out up to 32 times. So for every $1 that you put in there, they can lend that $1 out 32 times, and they are making interest on, your $1. If you think about it, they're making it on 32 times. So if they lend it out, and where do they get that 30? We won't go into where the other $31 come from, but um, if we go $32 times, I don't know, 5% interest rate, right? They're making a $1.60, right, per annum. Yeah, $1.60. However, right, they are paying you probably not even 3%, right? So that's costing them maybe 30 cents. 3 cents, right, for the $1. So they're making $1.57 profit for every dollar that you save. Can you see how? Can you see why? Right? They know what it's like, right? And when you understand what else they do in terms of the space, there are ways that you can become the bank, right? And especially in the crypto space, you can make those sort of returns that they're making, and you start going, yeah, I won't go into this part, right? But you would have heard me say about, where did the term too good to be true come from? And yet the bank is making effectively 160% on your money, right? So if you think about it, their return is infinite. Yeah. Oh boy, I gotta love the banks. Yeah. So, if you think about it and look at it this way, right? The way that we look at savings is savings, it's like building a wall, right? Whereas investing builds a bridge. Yeah. And now a wall might feel safe, but it traps you inside the same financial limits. Yeah. And whereas the bridge, it helps you connect from where you are through to opportunities, growth, and ultimately freedom and independence, right? So if you think about it, right, true safety doesn't come from hoarding. It comes from knowing that you're knowing how to make your money move. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you think about it, like, let's put this into perspective. If you saved $1,000 a month for 20 years, right, you'd have about $240,000 in the bank, but that's before tax and inflation, right? And might be a little bit more because you'll make 1 or 2% per annum. But if you actually learn how to invest that same $1,000 and you put it away every single month, even at small returns or modest returns of say 10, 12, 15% per annum, you are in the millions. Yeah, can you see the difference, right? It's the same discipline, putting $1,000 away every single month, but it's different rules. And without a doubt, a completely different outcome. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the other the next rule, what I'd like to share, I'm going to bring this over a couple of episodes, guys. The next rule I'd like to bring into is rule number 2, right? Before I do that, if you think about it, right, wealth isn't built by savings, right? The real question becomes, right, where should you start investing? And that's where most people go wrong. They skip the foundations and they jump straight into speculation. Yeah, they go, you know what? I've been, just got a massive tip from my Uber driver. Oh my God, we'll talk about that through these rules as well, right? Yeah, but in reality, what we want you to do is to really start to build a foundation. And that's where we go into rule number 2, right? This is where most people get it wrong. They start chasing that shiny stuff before they understand the basics. They skip like the foundations and dive straight into speculation because someone, like I said earlier, right? Someone at the barbecue or their Uncle Fred or Auntie May or, their best mate Joe, right? Or the Uber driver told them about the next best, the big thing. Yeah. But the truth is, guys, speculation without education is pure gambling. Right. And we've said this many, many times in our seminars and webinars and what have you, right? Is basically, if you're not doing proper due diligence, if you're not doing research, right, if you're not getting educated, then you are literally just gambling, right? And if you think about it, most people they're not even investing, they're just guessing. Yeah. They're following hype instead of the hierarchy, right? For us, foundations are all about building intelligence before you build portfolios, right? So when you get educated first, you stop reacting to opportunities and you start selecting them. You start working on your own portfolio. You start working on where it is that you want to be and where you are right now. Because the gap in the middle is to get you there as fast and as safe as possible. You start putting those investments and those strategies in place. And that's the difference between the two. Yeah. Here you are. This is where you want to be. The difference is the right investment strategies at the right time will help get you there, right? So if you think about it, right, your foundation, it isn't property or stock. It's your level of understanding. It's your knowing of where you are, right? Where you are in your wealth journey, where you want to be. And that awareness is what shapes every single decision that you make from this point forward, right? Whether you know your strategy or you know whether you to chase cash flow or whether you chase capital growth or you have a good mixture of both, which one do you start with first? Making sense? Yeah. So if you think about it, and we've spoken about the wealth pyramid before, right? But if you go back and remember, right, the bottom half is the capital growth part, and it's about building wealth over time. It's solid, it's slow, it's predictable, long-term foundations. The top half is what gives you the freedom, right? It's all about cash flow. Yeah. And when you get those two right, and sometimes you do need to start at the top, right? You may not have enough capital, right? But we've spoke about it before. There are different types of capital. It's not just about money or equity or whatever. There's other people's time, other people's skills, other people's knowledge, your own time, your own skills, your own knowledge. This is actual capital as well. Yeah. So if you already have stability, right, you might focus on capital growth, or the key really isn't one over the other. It's about building this synergy with capital growth and cash flow that suits you. Yeah. And it's really important to understand that, because capital growth, it feeds your lifestyle, right? Cash flow feeds your lifestyle, right? Whereas capital growth builds your legacy. Yeah. Both matter, but you've got to get it right in the right order. And the only way to do that is for you to know it, right? But here's the trap, right? Most people try to skip levels, right? They want crypto results with kindergarten knowledge. Yeah, I heard this the other day and I thought, man, that is so good, right? They want crypto results with kindergarten knowledge. And that's when it doesn't work. Yeah, just chatting, having a good chat to a good friend of mine. Just invited him to our off the record event, and yeah, we don't record it, right? It's exactly what it is. It's off the record. Um, and I said to him, man, you must be rapt that we got you into gold and silver all those years ago. And yeah, he was really excited. But then he goes on to say that have you heard of this crypto? And I said, mate, look, I haven't. And he goes, oh yeah, I haven't done much due diligence. I've just chucked some cash in, and I've gone, oh my God, where did that come from? He's speculating without actually doing the proper due diligence. Yeah. So I want you to really think about, right, before you go and chase the next opportunity, ask yourself, am I building from knowledge or from emotion? Right? Do you have the education to be able to make the right decision, to be able to go into this investment with an open mind, knowing exactly how it works, what the risks are, what the profile is, and where does it fit? More importantly, where does it fit inside your portfolio, right? Because once you have that solid foundation, predominantly around your education and your knowledge, then, right, then you can play your own game instead of everyone else's. Yeah. Look, I'm going to leave that there, guys. In the next one, I'm going to go into rule number 3 and rule number 4. If you have liked it, if you've got any comments for us, as always, guys, subscribe to the channel so you get updated as to when the next rules hit. And if you want any questions answered, or if you've got any good comments, guys, or bad, click the link, comment below, click the button to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.